Vanessa Jean Lewis, come on up here. You know, this is going to scare the living hell out of the left, because I can see the blogs tomorrow. Oh, they got the few black people in the party, and you know, they came out, and well, you know, that's all they did. I remember back at the first April 2009 rally, some of you were there that are here today, and it was attacked afterward that I was one of the 2 black people at the rally. Now, in a crowd of over 12,000 people at night, I don't know how you can count the black people, but I can't. And I didn't realize that anywhere in any movement in America by anyone, there was a minimum daily requirement of black people to legitimize it. The Afro-conservative. I like that. Vanessa's been working in the inner city, in the neighborhood, as a counselor for the last several years. A self-described urban conservative, Vanessa believes in strong families, school choice vouchers, which the NAACP has a public national policy stated against, and fiscal policies that help lift people out of poverty, not to perpetuate deleterious cycles of government dependence. And she's not just somebody with a voice, she's somebody with some serious creds to back it up. A master's degree in counseling, and headed towards that master's in political economy. We need leaders like Vanessa for the future, and that's what we need for America. Vanessa Jean Lewis.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Jean Lewis. I am president of the New Jersey chapter of the Frederick Douglass Foundation, a public policy organization of Black Republicans. I'd like to thank Jeffrey Weingarten and the founders of UNI-TEA, and I also want to publicly acknowledge my conservative sister, Amy Reed, who made this selfless decision to allow me to speak today. See, black conservatives know how to fist bump too. My parents emigrated here from Haiti, and I was born in Newark, New Jersey. As I was growing up, my mother constantly reminded me, Vanessa, in this country, it doesn't matter what color you are. As long as you are willing and diligent, you can be whatever you want to be. Since not going to college wasn't an option in my house, after completing my master's degree, I began working in the inner city as a school counselor, because that's what conservatives do. We give back. Almost immediately after I started working, I noticed problems, but I couldn't put my fingers on it. So I went on this quest to understand why crime was so rampant, why the families and communities were broken, why schools were dilapidated, and most of all, why economic opportunities were so few and far in between. My fellow Americans, I found out that it wasn't always like that in the inner city. Black families weren't always broken. As a matter of fact, in 1950, over 80% of black children were born with 2 parents who were married. Today, 90% of black children born in the inner city are born in homes without fathers. Now, let me be clear, I'm not knocking single mothers because they have tough jobs, but after decades of social science research, we now know that educational attainment, crime, and poverty have a direct correlation to homes without married mothers and fathers. This trend began as a result of failed welfare policies that stipulated black fathers not be in the home in order to receive benefits. You see, I wasn't always a conservative, but when I found out that Lyndon Baines Johnson's war on poverty policies, though well-intentioned, turned out to be a war on the black family, that's when I realized that with government, no matter how good they make it sound, no matter how well and innovatively they package their message, there is always a price to pay. Sometimes that price includes freedom. Before these failed liberal policies, did you know that in the 1920s, black entrepreneurs created the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Did you know that the first self-made female millionaire was a black woman by the name of Madam C.J. Walker? Did you know that the first woman Maggie Walker, to those who decry that the capitalist system is unfair or racist, how is it that even in a time where there was rampant racism, those Americans were still able to use capitalism and the free markets to chart the paths of their own economic destinies? Contrast those American leaders to the fake opportunists who have propped themselves up as leaders in the black community today. And I don't need to list them because you all know who they are. Moreover, I find it quite ironic that those on the left cry about the injustices of capitalism and talk about socialism as if it's the answer to world suffering. Yet whenever there is a crisis around the world, like the earthquake in my parents' native country of Haiti, it is America that responds first. It is the capitalism and free market system in our country that make it possible for us to donate the most time, the most money, and the most resources than any other socialist country in the world. And we do it time and time and time again. So now, my brothers and sisters, when I see members of Congress and the President of these United States empowering bureaucrats and chipping away at individual freedom, self-determination, and the American dream, I say no. What do you say? Our country wasn't built on we the government. Our forefathers said we the people. I stand before you today, not as some establishment mouthpiece or some rich person out of touch with reality. Shoot, I'm broke. I tried to deficit spend last week, and you know what the ATM machine told me? Insufficient funds. So if I shouldn't deficit spend, neither should my government. I believe in lower taxes because I understand that when a single parent in my community goes into a small business that is burdened with high taxes, that business owner passes those fees on to that single mother, and that's less money in her pocket. Apparently, it's not just the conservative Republicans who feel taxed enough already. Senators John Kerry and Charlie Rangel would also agree, don't you think? Why else would John Kerry try to move his yacht to Rhode Island in an attempt to duck Massachusetts taxes? Or why would Charles Rangel hide millions of dollars worth of assets for years? Yes. My fellow Americans, we cannot leave our inner city brethren behind in this fight. Black male unemployment is as high as 54% because of failed liberal policies. We cannot be afraid to explain to people the relationship between taxes, overregulation, and job creation. We need to lovingly challenge our brothers and sisters in the inner city by asking, why are you voting for people who are empowering themselves instead of creating an atmosphere where you can empower yourself? Empowering the individual over the bureaucracy means that we uphold what our forefathers intended for this great country by electing politicians who don't just give lip service to jobs, but place more emphasis on enterprise creation as opposed to government dependency. Because it's the conservatives who believe that it doesn't matter how much government is involved. If the individual is not empowered, nothing changes. Samuel Adams said it best when he said, it does not require a majority to prevail, but rather an irate,